Pursuant to the open meeting laws, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recording or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed knowledgeable and permissible. Welcome to the Fall River Conservation Commission on Monday, August 5th, 2019 at 5:30, first floor of the hearing room, One Government Center, Fall River. Start with roll call.
Walter Burrell. Andrew Liss.
John Brandt. We also have Patty Aguiar, clerk. William Roth, the planning, and Fall River TV, Alex Mello. First on the agenda is abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by SciTech Inc. on behalf of owner applicant St. Vincent Service Inc. regarding projects located at 2647 Highland Avenue, Courtney Street, Assessors Map U-4-1 and U-5-1, file number SE-24-724, table from our July 8th.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. As the chairman stated, this is a continuation of a previous hearing held a month and a half, 2 months ago, regarding a wetlands line delineation for bordering vegetated wetland and riverfront located on what you all know is the rear parcel of the St. Vincent's Home property, bordered to the east by Route 24, to the west by Highland Avenue, and to the south by Courtney Street. So you see on the plan that we have up there, shaded in yellow is the bordering vegetated wetland that we had delineated, submitted on the previous plan. It's my understanding that the hired consultant went out and reviewed the line and made the determination that all the flagging was accurate. He did ask us to add the actual buffer zone lines and the 25-foot river setback to the plans. We did that, submitted it back to the commission, that you should have copies for your records. So there's no activities proposed at this time. This is strictly to get the wetland delineation approved so that we can now formulate some potential engineering designs moving forward. That's all. If you have any specific questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
I think we agreed on
Yep. Dan kind of summarized it. We did hire, I did recommend that we hire our own consultant to review the line. Mr. Picard from Environmental Resource Consulting did that, and he has agreed with the line, and he did want the buffers shown, and so that's what's been done. It has been revised, so it is in compliance. And as Mr. Aguiar stated, this is strictly to delineate the line so then they can figure out what sort of engineering on any type of future development they want to do, which I'm not quite sure what they want to do, but this is just strictly for the line. Good. Okay. You ask if this.
Does anyone from the public want to comment on this?
So did
Can you
it
state your
change
name?
it, Devaney Goodrich, on Brookside Street? Did it change at all? Did they encroach into it anymore, or is it just to define the line?
What this is just to define the line.
Okay.
There's no development or encroachment or anything. The applicant, I believe they probably have some sort of purchase and sale agreement with St. Vincent's, I would assume.
Yeah.
And they, in order to figure out what they can do, they have to delineate this line, and then if it's verified, we had a consultant review it. If it's verified, then it's good for 3 years.
Yeah, that's what you
That they can then figure out a development and then come in with a detailed development plan. Then that would result in, at minimum, a notice of intent.
Okay.
And everyone will be notified again.
And then everyone would be notified again of the development plan.
Okay.
There'd probably be several, if they're doing something similar to what they did just north of the property, which is Highland Farms.
Yeah.
That
which,
was,
we do not want.
it would be a development plan.
So would we have to go to a planning meeting, or would we come back to this?
It would be several. It would
Okay.
be, they would come to the planning board and the conservation commission probably at the same time, at minimum. Conservation Commission for the proposed development and its impact, and the notice of intent, and the planning board if it was a subdivision for the subdivision layout and design. I don't think ZBA unless.
No. It's most likely going to be a single-family home use similar to what's north of it.
Okay.
And no, that does not require any zoning relief.
Right.
So it would be in compliance with zoning, but it would require a definitive subdivision application with planning and a notice of intent application with the conservation.
He's saying it's probably going to be
Another
most likely a
subdivision,
subdivision development
like they just did.
proposal.
They took all those fields and put 40-something houses on it. It's ridiculous. And we bought our property on Brookside Street because it was a quiet, dead-end street. And obviously I have a lot of medical issues, so peace and quiet is what we did, and that's why we bought our house. There's 2 houses on our street
Right.
that are right in between the St. Vincent's property and was the fields.
So,
So,
well, right
and-
now, this is just the line. I
But
think,
my concern is just they keep encroaching, okay, maybe it's a couple feet this year, then 3 year comes, and then it's a couple more feet, and then it's a couple more feet. It's always greedy and it's always about money, and it shouldn't be, because it should also be taken into effect the wildlife, which from bunnies to deer we have in our yard because they have no place to go. We have tortoises, we have everything coming from the brook. And my other concern is with the brook, because it is not, what's the word? It's overgrown. So there's multiple trees down, etc. So our backyard, it almost comes to within 20 to 50 feet of our house because it gets so overgrown, and especially with the flash flood we just had yesterday,
Yeah.
it swells up very quickly. So all the land that's behind us, luckily, is wetlands, so we can't do anything and they can't develop close to us, which is great. But the woman that owns the land behind us has passed away, and I know that their family is looking to sell it, but they can't do anything because it's all wetlands. You know what I mean? And we would like to preserve it as that.
yeah. Well, tonight's thing is just to do the line.
Yeah.
I think your input and your concern are when they actually submit a
Yes.
development application.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else? Could you state your name?
Barbara Starr, 372 Courtney.
Could you speak up? We didn't hear.
Barbara Starr, 372 Courtney, and our situation is similar to the young person because we have the woods to the left of us, and there is wetlands there. There's a stream that runs right down there, and it's marked on the other map that it's not. So, we moved there because it was a quiet area. So, yeah, this is marking off the line where,
Yeah.
which I'd like to know how many feet from our side of our house. But we'll find that out later, right?
Right.
I mean, we have, but they've gone away now, what do you call it, the flags? When they first
Yeah,
put them,
I have all
they're
kinds of
gone.
flags
They
that
were
are-
in the woods and now they're gone.
When,
You know, those little markers that
Right.
the,
The surveyor flags.
yeah, surveyors,
Like,
yeah. And they
like I
were-
said.
They're not
they
out?
were in quite a ways,
It
too.
must be if the
Yeah,
consultant
exactly.
reviewed them, unless
Well,
somebody took them
they
down.
had a private person come out and survey the land because there's 2 or 3 acres that are behind us that were, the gentleman that lived across from us, he also passed. So he has a lot of private land that goes almost all the way, isn't there a reservoir back there or whatever that the brook comes from? All that land is his. And so they had a surveyor come out, obviously to see what land it was.
Oh, that's
and the
probably a
wetlands
boundary
as well,
survey.
though. So.
that was probably a boundary survey.
Yes, exactly. But it was also because of the wetlands as well.
Right.
It takes over a good part of his property as well.
Well, he didn't, if it's not the St. Vincent's property.
No, it's not. But his also abuts
Yeah.
St. Vincent's.
We don't have that application
That's
before us.
fine.
No one, they probably just did a boundary survey.
Yes.
So, so my recommendation is the board to approve the line based on the consultant's recommendation, that the line delineated by the applicant is correct.
Can I have a motion to approve the line based on the consultant's survey that the line is correct?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Second. Vote, yeas?
Yes.
Any nays? Vote passes.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Next on the agenda is notice of intent filed by Farland Corporation on behalf of the applicant TM Crowley and Associate, owners RKG Realty Trust, regarding project located at 64 Stevens Street, Assessors Map E-27-4, to construct a 4,308 square foot convenience store with 5 dual-side fuel dispensers attached, 2,640 square feet, 2-bay drive-through car wash, contiguous concrete paved parking area containing 25 parking spaces and associated grading and stormwater management. File number SE-24. Dash 20, oh, it didn't show up on mine.
You have the cards in there?
Have the receipt for the ad?
No, yeah, it's a...
I just have the receipt from the...
Give him a copy, see.
I have it.
Yeah. Thank you.
And if you could get us the cut sheet.
Absolutely, yep. My name is John Marchand from Farland Corp., here on behalf of Tim Crowley.
Could you speak up, please?
Sure. So what we're proposing is a Cumberland Farm convenience store with an attached drive-through facility. It's a 1.7 acre site on the southeast corner of Brayton Ave and Stevens Street. There's an existing bank drive-through facility there, currently abandoned. It's across from the old Sam's Club. So between our site and the Route 24 on-ramp is a wetland area to the east of our site. And the 100-foot buffer to that wetland extends onto our site. There's approximately 3,600 square feet of buffer zone. So our work within that buffer zone consists of a portion of the driveway, a portion of the airback area, no buildings, no storage tanks. Those are all outside the 100-foot. We do have a portion of a retaining wall in that buffer zone. And we are proposing staked straw wattle for erosion control at the property line. The stormwater for the site is designed to meet DEP stormwater management standards as far as quality and rate of discharge. One of the stormwater discharges from you can see the underground storage system between the building and the fueling islands, that discharges through the retaining wall within that 100-foot buffer. The other discharge from the other system is outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. And that's about the site itself. I don't know if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
So you won't be discharging anything into the wetland, is that right?
Not directly into the wetland. We have one of our discharges that discharges toward the wetland, kind of where the existing site pitches in that direction anyway. It all slopes toward the wetland, so. Our closest disturbance to the wetland is 70 feet, and that would be kind of approximately where the airbag systems are.
So it looks like you have a Coltech system in the, I'll go for the south, the rear of the property.
Correct. There are two.
And there's a direct, and then a discharge through into, just before the buffer, correct?
Correct.
And then you have another Coltech, and that's for roof runoff for the building, correct?
For roof and a portion of the pavement in the back, there's a catch basin in the southwest corner.
Oh, the upper catch, okay.
Right.
And then you have between the things at Coltech system that you're looking at for roof runoff and stormwater runoff?
So that front system would handle the canopy over the gas islands
Correct.
and the pavement roughly from the front of the store
Okay.
toward Brayton Ave, that whole section.
And then that's the second discharge. Now, at the end of the wall, it looks like there's some grading here. So is there an issue of, you're not doing anything on the grading within the buffer down at the bottom of the wall to the north?
That's kind of just to blend in the existing slope into the wall. We do have the erosion control, the staked wattles.
It's a 7-foot wall. It's pretty big.
It is, yes.
This is also in for site plan review right now. Community utilities, which is our water and sewer and stormwater, and our city engineer. I have not gotten comments fully back from them. Typically we do not see, and so therefore, I'm glad you opened the hearing, take any kind of questions, but I am going to request it be continued to the next meeting for the stormwater evaluation. I think one of the issues that I see is typically we don't see the pavement runoff go into the Coltech units and then out for discharge.
Okay.
I'm not as concerned from the one in the rear of the property because it's the one catch basin, but still the one that's right next to the fueling system, that's, I don't know what your contaminant is and your spill containment, but that may be of concern. I'm not an engineer, but I've been reviewing site plans and working with engineers for 26 years. So I see these things and I'm like, oh, well, I'm sure the engineer's going to have some
Sure.
comments on that. So that has not been fully vetted, and we really need in order for the board to make a decision on, the discharge that's going to be discharging into the wetland buffer and then obviously going to the wetland, what sort of engineering review is going to be necessary. So I believe, wasn't there a traditional type of pond in the?
Yes, the drive-through had a small detention pond on site with kind of like a weir outlet, just
Okay.
also discharging toward the wetland.
And you're not proposing anything like that?
No surface basins, just all subsurface recharge. If I could talk a little bit about the water quality.
Please do.
Sure. So as with any gas station fueling areas, there's the positive limiting barriers, the grooves that you see in the concrete, that's
Right.
designed to capture a small amount of fuel if there were to be any kind of leak at the fueling
Right.
stations. If it were to get to a catch basin, we have deep sump hooded catch basins, so there is some oil storage volume within that, and then those discharge to a CDS water quality unit, which is also has an oil storage capacity prior to discharging to the infiltration basin. And Cumberland Farms does have an extensive fuel spill response plan.
Yeah, they have to. They're in
Right.
the business of selling fuel.
Yep.
They're going to have that, I'm sure.
Any other questions?
No, I agree, we kind of have to know what happens with the water, especially near the pumps, makes sense.
We just don't, the community utilities, water, sewer, they also look at stormwater and the city engineer. We just haven't fully finished the engineering review.
Sure, we welcome that feedback, certainly.
So can I have a motion to table this to our September 9th meeting till we get a stormwater evaluation?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Vote, yeas, any nays? Okay, it passes.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Was that the picture?
Yeah, that's a rendering of this.
Their new prototype?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Next on the agenda is a request for determination of acceptability filed by Power Engineer on behalf of Aaron Bosky of National Grid regarding projects that is within the existing National Grid road located between Bell Rock Road substation extending south and west to approximately south of McCain Street, occupied by M13 and L14 transmission lines, file number RDA 165.
Hi, good evening. I'm Karen Hanachek with Power Engineers. I'm here on behalf of National Grid this evening. National Grid is proposing some subsurface explorations within their existing transmission right-of-way. And the purpose of the RDA submittal was to cover 7 proposed soil boring locations that are located within bordering vegetated wetlands. So to get to those 7 locations, we need to install some temporary construction matting within the wetlands themselves so that the vehicles can traverse over the wetland and collect the soil boring location. So for this program, we currently have a little over 22,000 square feet of temporary matting that will be installed to get to those soil boring locations. It's a completely temporary impact. It's kind of an in and out. They go in, collect the boring, backfill the location, stabilize the area, pull the mats out, and make sure everything is stabilized once that program is complete. It's National Grid's typical practice to install soil erosion sediment controls for the program, and also to have periodic environmental inspections when that program is going on to make sure everything is going according to plan. So any questions you may have, I'd be happy to answer.
So, just in case you don't, when they put the mats down, it protects the wetlands. So they drive right over it, and when you pull it up, nothing's damaged.
It's minimal restoration.
Yeah.
It should be minimal, yeah, depending on, the saturation of the wetlands at the time. Usually they throw down some straw and just stabilize the area. Should be very minimal.
Just a quick question, how long will they need to be out there for?
We anticipate that the entire program will take probably 3 weeks to complete. And this extends over a stretch of, I think it's about 12 miles of right-of-way that they're proposing borings. So each specific location may take a day or 2 to complete. Sure.
Did you guys already get some approvals on other borings?
We did. So the Bell Rock substation is kind of the
I know this is a
terminus of
huge
so
project.
many, right? So we did borings to the east of Bell Rock substation, and then we've also,
Some minimal matting, not a lot on that one.
right, yeah, that was
This is
pretty
much
minimal.
more extensive.
Yep. This right of way is a bit more extensive in terms of wetland coverage.
Yeah.
It's very close to North Watauga Pond.
National Grid's done a good job. This is a public utility. They need to get in there and do these borings. This is a significant project that involves all the way from Rhode Island to what, past Acushnet, something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
And it's working in conjunction with it's a National Grid and
Eversource.
Eversource
Yep.
to upgrade this line. I'm recommending, negative determination with the standard conditions that they've outlined, which is the erosion control methods and where necessary stabilization of the area impacted by the mats. This is just a temporary impact, and this should be regrowth. And they have their spill containment plan, don't you?
Yeah, so the contractor will be required
Right.
to have
And
spill
that's-
kits in all of the vehicles.
And the
Yep.
contractors with this spill containment plan.
So can I have a motion for a negative determination with standard erosion control maintained during the project?
I'll second that motion.
Vote, yea,
Yeah.
nay. Vote passes. Thank you.
You just spell your last name again?
Sure, it's Hanecak. Thank you.
Then 4 is a notice of intent filed by Field Engineering Company, Inc. on behalf of owner applicant Hutchins Holding 2 LLC regarding project located at 0 Current Street Road, Assessors Map Z03-21, constructed parking area within a 100-foot buffer zone, supporting vegetated wetlands, file number SE24.
I didn't see a file number this afternoon when I checked. It's still not there. I do have the green cards, but I called the office this afternoon. Unfortunately, there was a miscommunication with us and my office about the advertising of this, so the ad didn't get into the paper. I don't know if I can at least get any preliminary questions or anything from you guys.
No, I'm recommending they've opened the hearing, that they continue it until the proper posting and noticing be done.
Okay.
And that would be for the
September 9th.
9/9 meeting. And you'd need to redo the
Yeah.
abutter cards.
That's fine. Okay. Riccio, R-I-C-C-I-O. Just, Bill, parking lot, just a straight parking lot. What does that need for planning purposes from the planning side of things, just while I'm here? And I mean, there's no building or anything, it's just
This is
next to Hutchins, the cold ice cube in the industrial park. They bought the lot from the industrial.
vacant?
It's a vacant lot. They bought from the industrial foundation.
site plan review.
Straight site plan review.
Yeah. Blount's got one in right now.
Okay.
Site plan review, engineering.
All right, so we'll get that in right away too, so maybe we can get the stormwater stuff done before the 9th.
That would be good.
Okay.
Now, one question, when you're looking at your plan, if you're on Current Street, you're looking back, parking lot's gonna be in the back corner?
If you're standing on Current Street, it's to the right at the intersection with Current and Sykes. There's a wetland there that was formed over the years from the water coming down the 2 swales.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the site there. It's a little vacant piece they got. It's like 3 acres or 4 acres. they
That'll
bought.
help them when they go out. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look at the maps and you're like,
Yeah, was
the
that?
maps and real life don't look.
Oh, I know.
I didn't know, I'm trying to say, okay, is it this corner?
Yeah, it's right on the corner there of the 2 streets, so.
So, since we're not
Okay.
taking any testimony.
That's fine.
I would recommend a motion to continue to 9/9 so they can properly advertise and then renotice. And if you want to, you can get
I'm gonna do that this
review
week.
concurrent.
Get it right in, so hopefully we can, because there's a big need for the parking out there. They're having,
Okay.
for the trucks, they're stacking on the street right now, so. All right,
So can I have a motion
I'll make that
to
motion. I'll second that
continue
motion.
to September 9th till advertising is complete?
I'll second.
Vote, yea?
Yay.
Any nays? Vote passes.
all right,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Next is a notification from Mass DEP submitted July 8, 2019 from MassDOT regarding the water quality certificate for South Coast Rail.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, actually, items number 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all standard notifications. They don't require an action from the board. Notification number 5 is that the South Coast, that the DEP's issued a water quality cert for South Coast Rail. My recommendation is to, receive and place on file.
Same with the others.
Right now, we have them all listed as 4 or 5 different ones, so let's do them independently. I'm going to, in the future, I want to change the agenda and just say notifications from DEP, and we're just going to list them. a bullet item. That way you can add, if you have any questions about any of them, or recommend to place them all on file. Since they're individual items on the agenda, I would recommend we take them individually, but in the future, I'm going to list notifications as one item on the agenda with the bullet points underneath. So I recommend the first one, number 5, you
So can I have
receive and
a,
place on file.
can I have a motion to place on file?
I'll second that.
Vote, yea,
Yeah,
no
yea.
nays, vote passes. Next one is a notification from Mass DEP submitted July 8, 2019 from Algonquin Gas Transmission LLC regarding insurance of Chapter 91 waterway license for intersections of Atlantic Boulevard and Pembroke. Can I have a motion to place on file?
Take that motion. I'll second it.
Vote, yea, no nays, vote passes. Next one is a notification from National Grid submitted July 16, 2019 regarding geotechnical investigation activities on existing M13-L114 transmission line ROWS. Can I have a motion to place on file? Second.
I'll second.
Vote, yea, nay, vote passes. Next one is notification from, oh, that was it. Okay.
Nope. Number 8.
Oh, number 8. Notification from National Grid submitted on July 17, 2019 regarding geotechnical investigation on activities existing in M12-M113 roads. Can I have a motion to place on file?
Make the motion. I'll second it.
Vote? Yea, no nays, vote passes. Then we had a open meeting law complaint received July 18th regarding attendance not taken at the meeting. We realize we have not done this in the past, so from now on, we'll start taking attendance before every meeting is called.
Yep, and Mr. Chairman, you know, I believe this issue's resolved. The person that's filed the open meeting law complaint, is it Dias? He's here. Would you like to speak on either one of these?
Oh,
Okay. I will let you know, I think I'm going to draft up a preamble for the meetings
Okay.
that includes the video recording, noticing who's here, the board members, the staff members, government TV. So that's what I'm going to look at doing.
Right, the chairman reached out to me like a few weeks ago before the meeting and told me what was just said tonight, so it's really no issue.
Thanks. The next one was an open meeting law complaint received July 19th regarding Galter Amaral not completing his open meeting laws. We checked into this, and Mr. Amaral emailed on Friday to the city clerk, but somehow the email was received but lost. Once we found out, he dropped a hard copy off at the city clerk. To make sure this doesn't happen in the future, we're going to make sure all new members have everything on file before they attend the first meeting.
And we believe that this has been rectified and this case is considered closed.
Okay, can I have approval of the minutes for July 8, 2019? Second?
Second that.
Okay, vote? Okay.
Yeah.
Citizen input, does anyone have anything to say? All righty, thank you. Can I have a vote to adjourn?
I'll second that.
Meeting adjourned.